In this third video of my Blue Label Quick Start Guide, I will show you how to create an inventory. As part of the create action, the inventory must be assigned ownership. This is done by selecting an organization and by assigning system owners from the selected organization. This action must be done to establish structure and assign responsibilities to ensure the inventory is correctly implemented in the organization. Last, I will show you how to edit an inventory. During the inventory lifetime, the details of the inventory must be updated as applicable. Updating the inventory information helps stakeholders in better business decision making. And it is a regulatory requirement to be able to list all the available inventories, which has an impact to patient safety, product quality, or data integrity. So if not for the business advantage, then do it for the regulatory compliance. My name is Ken and I will guide you through the My Blue Label Quick Start Guide. First, I will navigate to the Create page. I do that by clicking the Create button. The Create page is now displayed. The Create page displays all the available modules in My Blue Label. The modules which are enabled are white and the modules which are disabled are grayed out. In the Create page, I click on Inventory. The new inventory page is now displayed. First, I will explain the details about the mandatory attributes which is needed to be filled in to be able to create an inventory. Then I will fill in the form with an example. The title is the display name of the inventory. The inventory is referenced in other modules by this name. The description is important since this will help the users of the solution to understand the intended use of the inventory. The type is selected to categorize the inventory. The created by field is auto-populated with the logged in user's name, the user who is now creating the inventory. The organization is selected to assign ownership. It enables structure and is also a filter for the relevant users who can be selected for the ownership responsibilities. Please notice that the list of organizations are the organizations which we created in the video about how to create organizations. Please notice it is not possible to select a user before the organization is selected. The business system owner is coming from the business organization. The business system owner is the person who is responsible for the inventory processes, and the inventory is fit for intended use. Only users with the system owner role can be selected for the inventory ownership. The IT responsible person is the person who makes sure that the inventory or the IT part of the inventory is available for use. The task owner is the person who is currently responsible for the implementation and the operations of the inventory. If more users must be available for the selection in the inventory ownership, the users must be assigned to the system owner role within the selected organization. These are all the mandatory fields required to be filled in to be able to create an inventory. However, the inventory details must be constantly enhanced, and the very first task in an inventory implementation project is to understand more about the inventory usage and the supported processes' critical compliance areas. One of the really cool features of this solution is the Where Use section. All the modules has this section, and this enables a complete traceability of each individual entry and the relationship between other entries in the solution. The attributes selected below are the critical to quality entries. These are the entries which must be reported upon at every system periodic review. At the system periodic review, it is really convenient to have all the details listed here. If all the modules in My Blue Label are enabled and used, the critical to quality entry status can be visually displayed in real time by the multi-dashboard feature. The Where Use section is now empty, but we are only now starting to build information into the solution. I will now start to fill in the example of the inventory details. For the title and as a display name, I'm going to call this inventory for My Quality Management System. In the description, I'm going to enter, My Quality Management System is a collection of all the required documentation to establish and maintain a complete quality management system, including the quality policy, quality manuals, and procedures. For the time, I'm going to select Solution. In the organization, please notice I can select the 3 organizations which we created earlier. If I try first to select Business Solution, I cannot select Business System Owner, IT Responsible Person, or Task Owner, since we did not allocate any users to the organization in the previous video about creating users. Therefore, I select the Organization Quality Management. In the business system owner, IT responsible person, and the task owner, please notice I can only select the users who are allocated to the selected organization and who is assigned to the system owner role. In this example, it is only Ida who is the only available user for the selection. Without entering more information, it is possible to save the inventory. I do that by selecting Save under Actions. The inventory details are now displayed. This is all the information you need to fill in before you can go to the next module and start to set up projects. I will, however, for the purpose of this video, continue to show you how to edit an inventory. To update or enhance the details of the inventory, I select Edit under Actions. I now have the possibilities to enter more or update existing information in the inventory. As an example, in the business processes, I enter inventory management, project management, document management. In the criticality section, I select as an example business critical, GXP, and ERAS. I select Save under Actions. As the inventory list is a regulatory requirement, keeping the inventory list up to date is critical during inspections. It is, however, good business practice and a business advantage to keep these attributes up to date, as they're describing the inventory in the context of reusability in the same or other organizations. Inventory management is all about business optimization and efficiency. Quality management systems is all about inventory management. We have now gone through the MyBlueLabel Quick Start Guide for inventories. I have showed you how to create an inventory and how to structure inventory by organization and assign ownership, and I've showed you how to edit an inventory. You're now all ready to set up and manage a project in MyBlueLabel. And for the next step to set up a quality management system, please follow the next video where I will show you how to create a project in MyBlueLabel.